WrestleZone presents Lost in the Midcard. Here are your hosts, Jeremy Bennett and Matt Black. Oh, baby, do not adjust your sets. Welcome to the podcast where we say we are effing back, baby. The whole effing show. Welcome to Lost in the Midcard. We are on a new streaming platform. Thank you to Restream for being nice, giving us a Black Friday sale too. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But first, I want to thank everybody that's already in the chat with us that has been back after our 2-month hiatus. Uncle Howdy in the White Six, welcome back. Thank you, appreciate it, man. Whoops, I hit the wrong button there. I'm driving for the first time in like a year, so I'm getting used to this shit. Ozzy, no playoffs for the Cowboys. No, they suck.
No playoffs for the Cowboys.
Street Profits, we are going to get to that. I'll tell you the show itinerary in a second. MK, thank you. Yes, we are back. And Mark Cho, oh, we're here. We are here, baby. Mark MK saying WD and Full Gear have had 8 match card segments and only 1 women's match. Again, we'll get into the into that. Today's show, yes, MK, we'll just get into that right now. Because in the past, WrestleZone has been kind enough to provide us with their StreamYard hookup. They decided to StreamYard decided to up their price and
by over double.
Yeah,
like it was over double what they were paying.
WrestleZone decided not worth it anymore. I looked into Restream, which is actually the originator of this shit, the OG of this shit. It almost sounds like I'm introducing Nick Gage at a GCW event. So I got a little free trial. Obviously, we were on a hiatus. We'll get into that in a minute as well. And then as we set today as our return date, I go to set a few things up, make sure everything's kind of hunky-dory. And lo and behold, above is a big green neon thing, 50% off for Black Friday. So, yes, we are now paying for our own StreamYard, but we got a Black Friday price, not too bad. But if you guys want to help us out, $1, $2 doesn't matter, and you don't even have to help us out. This just kind of help us out with the cost. We have our own QR code right there in the corner. Also, we have a little here too. If you feel like donating to help support the show, to help support the cost for Restream, which literally I think, Matt, I mean, look at it. Look, you see that little fancy gleam on that QR code? I mean,
this is way cheaper than.
And it's better. And it's got
StreamYard, and I think it does. I think it does the exact same things. So
yeah,
I think StreamYard got really greedy, and I think it's gonna bite them in the ass long term.
Matt, did I say yeah?
I don't know. Did you?
Yeah. Oh, we have a soundboard on this bitch too. How about that? Yeah. Matt's thrilled, especially when I add my hole back to it.
You're not adding that back.
For those that remember, when we were doing recorded, we'd get together. I think usually after Dynamite. Was that about right, Matt? We would get together.
I think so.
And we would record, and then we would post it the next morning. So we were not live. Someone scanned the QR code. I just got a notification. Thank you for whoever did that. Yes, any little bit helps because right now we're locked in at a good price. So, $1 or $2 is perfectly fine for anybody that wants to help us out. And that's perfectly fine. And I like to thank you. It's gonna go straight to my PayPal here because that's like the easiest thing to hook up. So I will again personally thank those that do that as well. And if you want to be known, I will let you be known. If you want to be anonymous, you can be anonymous. We appreciate the support. But yeah, Restream is our new home. But thankfully, WrestleZone is allowing us to continue to stream on their YouTube and their Facebook page. And we could do 3 streams at once. So we threw up Matt's Twitter because he's verified, because Elon Musk is yeah.
I might not be for much longer. So
because
I'm having a lot of fun over on Blue Sky.
Yes. Elon Musk is a dumbass. He has killed Twitter. A lot of, especially after the election, a lot of people in mass go into Blue Sky. I've like quadrupled my followers on Blue Sky, which is of course JB Huskers. So I got some new lighting too. I just set this up today, and I not bad for the first go around. I like that about very much. But if you have not done so already, make sure to go to WrestleZone, search for WrestleZone, all one word. And hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up on our video. That helps us get the word out to as many people as possible. Leave a comment. Also leave a comment. The streams, of course, we'll talk to you live. Steven Chambers is here. Playoffs. I don't know if that was a sound clip back in the day. It might have been.
I don't think we had it, but I mean, it's a very popular sound clip.
But my favorite sound clip, Ozzy, yes, is definitely yeah. That's obviously taken from Impact. That shows you how long we've used that clip. Boy, we had some fun. We had a couple of Vince ones in there too, and that was when
they ain't coming back.
No. Maybe the year fired. We could just remind ourselves that Vince is fired. Because we would record on Zoom or Skype or whatever, and then I had a stream deck and with a soundboard and all that. But this has a little music that we can throw sound clips in. That's pretty nice. And like I said,
Mark Show, there's definitely no playoffs of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No. Oh, Shahid Khan saying it was the best team they'd ever fielded. Oh boy. But yes, there's the QR code if you want to support us. We appreciate it. We'll pop it up in the corner from time to time as well. And again, like the Facebook page WrestleZone if you prefer watching your videos on there. We'll go live on there as well simultaneously. YouTube, I think everything you can chat in and it all shows up. I just see a YouTube for now, but I do think if you comment from Facebook, I think it will show me as Facebook, but everybody here is coming in as YouTube, which is perfect. Love it. All right. So now, for those that don't know, I'm going to get, we were gone for 2 months. Matt, seriously ill. Matt, the floor is yours to just say whatever. Good to see you back, by the way, buddy.
Yeah,
and good to see that we're back.
I don't want to get too in depth with it and waste a bunch of everybody's time, but yeah, I was very sick, like mid to late September, and it pretty much went through most of October and into early November when I started to come out of the other side. But I am on the mend. I'm doing better. Let's not dwell on it. Let's just let's talk some professional wrestling because that's what we're here for.
Hell yeah, buddy. Tonight's show is going to be a little different than normal. We are going to be doing a State of the Union for WWE, NXT, and AEW. But obviously, we're going to kick things off with AEW because after we get done with that State of the Union, we will then make our predictions for Full Gear, which is this Saturday. Full Gear, which is this Saturday, November 23rd. It's hard to believe Thanksgiving's already next fucking week, Matt.
Right around the corner, man. Around the corner.
Insane. We will obviously not be taking the holiday week off. No. We're going to be right here. Let me fix this here to get rid of our names. Because Mark Cho made these great graphics for us here, right here. I like it. I dig it. So we don't have to show our names. They're already there. So Full Gear is this Saturday, and then Survivor Series War Games is the next weekend. So we'll have a lot to talk about next Monday as well with the Raw Go Home show going into next week, going into Turkey Week. Mark Show, correct. The only live show tonight is Lost in the Midcard because Raw was taped last week. But hey,
there's going to be a live trouncing in Dallas tonight on ESPN. So
God, I don't even know if I'm going to watch that. Boy.
Well, look, I am so happy what's his face is back. I'm so happy Nico Collins is back tonight.
Yeah.
Because I hope that means Tank Dell will get a lot less. a lot less targets. That's what I'm
Yeah.
hopeful for because I want to
I
win my fantasy game tonight.
I have Tank
So
Dell. I have Tank Dell, but I don't need him. So you can he
look,
can
look,
he,
I'm up by like 53 points, but they got 3 people playing tonight. I'm nervous. We're gonna see how it goes.
yeah, it's you know, it's interesting because Stroud's having an off year. I think people are starting to kind of figure him out. Kind of like Jaden Daniels, it's rare for a rookie to succeed in their rookie year, and now Jaden Daniels is doing it the year after Stroud is doing it. But you see Stroud struggling this year. You kind of wonder if Daniels is going to regress. He's already had a couple of struggles this last couple of weeks. But still, the Commanders or the Washington football team or whoever the hell they are right now are miles ahead of where they were supposed to be, and Aaron Rodgers of the New York Jets not. My Bears getting screwed by a penalty that should have been called on that blocked field goal yesterday. But their offense looked better with the new offensive coordinators. So,
I love
you know,
how the chat is more concerned about the NBA and the NFL than the professional wrestling right now, and it makes me really worry about the state of professional wrestling right now because it seems like everybody in our chat is more interested in talking pro sports than they are pro wrestling.
welcome to Lost in the NFL Midcard again. We are back on that. Frantic World, thanks for jumping in. Ryan, good to see you, man. And yeah, Steelers Browns Thursday.
Hey, I am excited for that.
Yeah, yeah.
That should be that is the easiest to me. It could be a trap game, but it should be the easiest 4 day. Like if we had to play 4 days later, of all the teams it could be, I'm glad it's the Browns.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's go.
Mark Cho saying celebrate that Inside the NBA is live, the best sports show on TV. Then Shaq comes out and says, "Oh, we all didn't commit to ESPN." But he's going to. Come on. I think Shaq's just
They got
playing.
plenty. They got plenty of time to pay Shaq what he wants. He's
I think Shaq's just playing hardball right there. I don't know. So let's get into
let's get to the wrestling.
yeah.
Everybody
There's
in the
there.
chat's trying to derail us right now.
Well, are you surprised?
No, this is vintage. This is vintage.
Um, AEW, not as many major developments that I've come across, but obviously, if I'm missing something, Matt, you can bring up something. You bring it up as well. Obviously, the main thing that has occurred over the past couple months is the rise of the Death Riders. My boy Moxley leading the way. I think it's been a great vehicle to finally showcase Marina Shafir. I think it's been the perfect role for her. Really enjoying her in this one. It's almost kind of getting to the comical part about how much Yuta is getting treated like shit, especially by Claudio. It's like he's whipping boy. I kind of find that entertaining. Overall, though, I think I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying the story. How it started was pretty cool, and how it's developed is interesting. The fact that the Young Bucks might finally come back and turn face and save AEW is another interesting twist into the story that's yet to be told. Matt, what are your thoughts on the Death Riders over the past couple of months?
To me, as far as the faction goes, I believe it's less is more. Um, when they're not plaster all over the show, I find it enjoyable. But when they're on like half of the show, just beating up random people and ending matches and stuff, like I don't enjoy it. I find it excessive and annoying. And I'm just like, I saw this kind of shit in the '90s, and it was done better then. So please don't try to be a makeshift version of the NWO. I don't want that. And to me, this group should be better than that. I feel when they're utilized correctly and they're locked down to like a segment and like a live spot in the arena, I think it works best. There were some weeks. I think it was in October. I can't be 100% sure, but there was one week in October where they were on like an hour of the 2 hour show. If you add up all the time that they were on, I'm like, oh my God, enough already.
Yeah.
Like, this is too much. You're not expanding the story. Moxley's talking in circles. Like, freaking do something with the story. And I feel like since then, they've kind of got it under control and it's flowing and it's it's making a lot more sense than it did a couple months ago. But yeah, Death Riders for me, less is more, and I think it has potential, and I think they're eventually going to lose Wheeler Yuta and gain themselves a Jack Perry. So I think they're going to be like swapped at some point in the near future.
Is Patreon down for you?
I don't
I'm,
know.
I'm getting a 500 error.
Why would you be
Um,
looking at Patreon?
oh, I was gonna pull up something for Raw on there from Fightful, and I'm getting an error trying to load the page. That's
It's a
kind of weird.
tape show. Who cares?
I know. I just was pulling up something for Raw, and Patreon says a 500 error.
Yeah,
That's
I
kind of
have
weird.
literally have no idea. I don't know
Um,
what's going on with Patreon.
what are your thoughts on obviously the top contender at Full Gear? We can go into predictions later, but what are your thoughts about Orange Cassidy's new demeanor? Do you like it? Do you see him as a top guy? I would assume Tony Khan does, just how much he's featured Orange Cassidy over the past 5 years. But what are your thoughts on this kind of different persona for Orange Cassidy?
I mean, Orange Cassidy is a guy. Before AEW, I didn't care. Did not care. Didn't care for Cassidy. When AEW signed him, I'm like, what is this? What are they doing? But the more I've seen him in AEW over the past 5 years, the more I enjoy him, the more I get him, and the more I love. Yeah, I love everything about the Orange Cassidy character. The
Mhm.
Cassidy is Moxley's first challenger, makes sense. Cassidy has a victory over Moxley on pay per view, so it's a credible challenger.
Mhm.
Um, I still feel that the title change play is in the hands of Darby Allin whenever they want to pull that trigger, and then you immediately have to be worried about Christian Cage,
Mhm.
potentially cash it in immediately after that, unless that is the vehicle for Adam Copeland to return and
Screw him.
ruin Cage's cash. And I don't know what the plan for Christian's contract is, but the thing in the back of my mind has always been the second Moxley loses that title, Cage is going to cash in, and I'm
Or
hoping that I'm wrong because
yeah,
it's a very predictable outcome.
yeah,
So I'm hoping that they don't do that and they go a different direction. But
yeah,
that's my prediction. I know I'm giving away my Full Gear main event pick already, but I don't see Cassidy winning this weekend.
yeah.
I think it's going to be an incredible match,
I think
but I don't think he's winning.
we'll wait. We'll wait till predictions, but I think I know who's going to dethrone Moxley, and we'll see if we agree. And then
Oh,
I'm
like
gonna.
I said earlier, I think it's Darby Allin.
Okay, well then we agree.
Okay.
And I think Darby's going to get cashed in on right away.
That's my big fear. I want them to
I
do
think he
something
is.
different.
I
Don't
I
do it.
think he will. I think he will. That's the unfortunate part of that. That's the way I see things going down. Obviously, one of the biggest debuts in recent times in AEW here has been the Hurt Syndicate MVP Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley. To me, everything to me so far has been great. The way they've been presented, Shelton Benjamin with some killer matches, Bobby Lashley and Swerve, of course, at Full Gear. And of course, you got to wonder who's next. Leo Rush? Is it Ricochet? Who's going to get added to it? My opinion, I think Ricochet is going to join the Hurt Syndicate down the line. What are your
I think
thoughts?
I
So,
think Ricochet. I think Ricochet is the best choice.
yes.
I mean,
What are
Leo
your?
Rush is an obvious no-brainer if they want to play off the history with him and Bobby Lashley. Like I would love that too. Like
That
I
was
I would
so
be good if you
good.
add in both of them. You don't. It doesn't need to just be four. You can do 5 or 6 or whatever.
Does Leo
The
have to
more
shave
people
his
in the
head?
to me, the more people in the Hurt Syndicate, the more viable they are to go up against the Death Riders and kick some
Oh,
ass.
yeah.
Personally, I love everything they've done with the Hurt Syndicate
Yeah.
from MVP's debut at Grand Slam, giving Shelton Benjamin time to shine as a solo act before bringing in Bobby Lashley. Benjamin's working like a man possessed. He's working like Minnesota Wrecking Crew, Shelton Benjamin. He's working like Brock Lesnar works. And I love it. It's
Yeah.
Benjamin looks phenomenal. He's absolutely had new life
So good.
um in AEW. I'm excited for Lashley and Swerve at Full Gear. I love the Hurt Business. I'm upset we never got the Hurt Business in front of crowds in WWE. So I'm thrilled that we're getting the Hurt Syndicate in AEW right now.
Yeah, Shelton Benjamin, 49 years old, still looking amazing. I would love to see him hold the international title or just some singles title would be great. An old name has surfaced on here back in the old Sports Key to Top Story days. James Espanto Fernando Tagoy. I cannot say it like Kev does. Kev is the legend at saying your name, but thank you for joining us. Good to see you, James. He says, I feel like AEW could use acting coaches. It does wonders, like people like Cody Rhodes, and there are some AEW folks that need it badly.
Well, the thing is, like, a lot of WWE promos are scripted. So, like, they know what they're going to say before they go out there. A lot of AEW, like, they just get bullet points. So
Yeah.
a lot of the wrestlers are just out there, being
Winging it.
themselves and winning it
Yeah.
off the cuff. And
Yep.
it's AEW is more of a sink or swim scenario when it comes to mic work as comparable to what WWE offers. It's it's different strokes for different folks type of deal.
Yeah, MK saying Cage is winning the title. That's for sure. But from who? He thinks Darby as well, and then loses it because he's going to climb Mount Everest because Darby's a wild man.
I'm not 100% certain that Cage is getting that title.
Don't think so, huh?
I don't know if they've built him strongly enough in the past couple months that I could see him having a credible reign with the championship. I'm not 100% certain that this cash in that Cage has is going to be successful. But it could be. I mean, we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Plus, you got to figure at some point Copeland and Christian are going to team up, be on the same
I
side, whether
feel
it
like
be
if it wasn't for Copeland's injury, we'd already have that by now.
yeah.
But unfortunately, what can you do? I expect Copeland back soon. Nobody has told me that. But something's nagging at in the back of my mind that I feel like we're gonna see Copeland back in AEW sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I feel so. James thinks Ricochet would benefit from being with the Hurt Syndicate. Steven Chambers says Max Caster and Matt. I know Matt hates that.
I don't want look. I love the idea of the Acclaim breaking up because I want the Acclaim done, but I don't want Max Caster. I don't want Max Caster in the Hurt Syndicate because I feel like he is going to dampen what they're about unless he
Yeah,
undergoes a complete like character makeover change under MVP.
yeah.
I don't. The current Max Caster character does not fit or align with what the Hurt Syndicate is about.
I mean,
So
notice how much in AEW Ricochet's wearing suits compared to when he was in WWE.
yeah, and he had the gold tie on recently. So
I think that's leading in. Steven Chambers says depends on his health. Keith Lee helps Swerve. Man, I would love.
I would love that. I would love to
Yeah,
see Keith Lee back because Keith Lee needs some. Like obviously, Swerve needs help. Heading into Full Gear this weekend, and a returning Keith Lee would be amazing.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know Keith Lee's health status right now. Unfortunately, I'm hoping he's doing better,
yeah.
and I'm hoping he's back on our screen soon.
Mark Cho says they're teasing Max Caster, but he thinks Bones is joining. Bones would be a better fit.
I would much rather prefer that.
Yeah, yeah. Bones would be a better fit.
Anthony Bowens in the Hurt Syndicate. I am all for that idea.
Mercedes Monet doesn't hurt in there either.
I think a female in the Hurt Syndicate would be a great idea.
Absolutely.
I don't know if MVP wants to go down that route, but I feel like I remember him giving Mercedes his business card. So I guess that is open for, I guess it is open to bring somebody from the women's division in there and put them in there. Why wouldn't you want to collect all the gold in the company? And to do that, you need somebody from the women's division. It just makes sense.
Steven talking about Speedball, Mike Bailey, yes, Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful Select has all but confirmed Speedball is going to AEW. And
I'm
that's
so excited
amazing.
about this. I'm hearing like somebody's mentioned, like MK mentioned. I heard today the tentative plan is he's going to be a part of the Continental Classic, and that's when he's coming in.
Yep.
Oh my God! And
yeah,
dude, if I don't know if anybody in the chat saw the Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling debut last month, but to me, my favorite match of that weekend was Speedball Mike Bailey versus Konosuke Takeshita.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I think didn't
I'm
Ricochet make the save in that, or was that a different?
he made the save in the was no, I think he made the save in the Josh Alexander Takeshita
Oh yeah,
match.
you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
because Takeshita wrestled both nights, and I think Speedball was night one, and Josh Alexander was night two.
Ozzy in the chat saying Street Profits leave, will Bianca leave too? I
I don't think
honestly
Street
don't think they're
Profits are
leaving.
leaving. I think it's all a
No,
work.
they're taking the. I think they're gonna take the titles off the Machine Guns eventually. We'll get to that. We got WWE in the State of the Union coming up here. Next up, obviously one of the biggest stories to happen while we were gone. I think right towards the part where we were gone. The retirement of Brian Danielson, of course. Tremendous
The
final
full-time
match.
retirement of Brian
Full time,
Danielson.
yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back in the ring eventually.
I have faith. I have faith. We have not seen the last of the American Dragon in
No,
an
no.
AEW reign.
He worked the last few weeks without a contract, obviously, an agreement with him and Tony. But yeah, he is definitely going to wrestle again. I cannot wait for that. But what were your thoughts on the end?
Sad.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
knew it was coming, but it didn't, cushion the blow at all. Like
yeah,
it hurt when he had to retire in WWE, and then we got him back. Then he came over for AEW, and we've had this just tremendous run from Danielson to AEW. It sucked to
yeah,
lose him, but I want him to take care of his neck, get his neck better.
yeah,
Rumor is he's looking into alternatives to surgery, like physical therapy and things that he'll be able to, fix his neck without having to go under the knife, which would all but guarantee that he would be able to return because,
yeah,
surgery, you never know
yeah,
what could happen with surgery of the neck. It could go wrong, unfortunately.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't think we've seen the last of Danielson. I'm looking forward to his return, but yeah, losing him off the AEW roster right now was sad. Because he's one of my favorites of all time. So
What are your thoughts on the lack of Ricky Starks?
I think
Is it
Tony
another
Khan.
Miro
I
situation?
think no, I don't think it's a mirror situation. I think the mirror situation is them butting heads over creative.
Yeah,
I think the Ricky Starks situation is Tony Khan has it in his mind that no matter what he does with Ricky Starks, whether he pushes him or not, that when his deal's up, he's going to WWE.
uh,
So I think in Tony Khan's head, and I'm not saying this is right, but I think in Tony Khan's mind, he's like, well, he's leaving me no matter what I do. So if I sit him at home, he's out of sight and out of mind, and he's
you
not as
think
valuable to WWE when he ends up going over there.
is
That's
is
what
uh
I think is. That's what I think is happening.
is Cody a big
Um,
catalyst of that?
yeah. Well, look, if you go back over the last couple years, Ricky has been seen with Cody at multiple WWE events, like backstage and stuff. So I'm sure Tony, if Tony has any semblance of being a paranoid man, and I would not blame him if he is, as
Mm,
a billionaire.
yeah,
Um, he probably thinks that Starks is as good as gone, and if he brings him back right now and he pushes him like people would want him to push him,
yeah,
then when his deal's up, poof, that he's gone and he's either right on Raw or SmackDown or he's over on NXT
yeah,
and then it just looks bad on AEW's part. I think he's doing the same thing with Starks that he's doing with the Lucha Bros right now. He's sitting them at
yeah,
home
yep,
and decreasing their value for when they make the official jump.
yep.
I think that's the story with Ricky Starks right now.
While we are missing Ricky Starks, we have gained a young guy that has really been the breakthrough, in my opinion, one of the breakthrough wrestlers of 2024. What are your thoughts on the rise of Kyle Fletcher?
I thought you were going to say somebody else.
Oh,
Um,
I want to hear what you thought after your thoughts on Fletcher.
uh, Look, I like Fletcher, but I don't. And I know everybody's obsessed with putting him in the singles division right now. I think the AEW upper mid card and main event scene right now is so crowded that Kyle Fletcher's going to get lost in it. I
Lost in the
think,
mid card?
yeah, I do. I really and truly, I don't think now is Kyle Fletcher's singles run time. I think the best late course is for him to get back
Well,
together with Mark Davis and do Aussie
right
Open
here we
for another
go.
do Aussie Open for another year or two. Let the upper to mid event card singles card shift around in AEW, and
Oh,
then insert Fletcher back in as a single star and go from there. I don't think now is the right time to be pushing Fletcher as a top act because I feel he's going to get lost in the shuffle.
especially with Takeshita in the fold there. This would be great because Matt and I are planning on going. Kenny versus Danielson at All In Texas. Mercedes against Athena, Swerve versus Hangman for the world title. Yeah,
I love all of those ideas, but I think Will Ospreay will have the AEW World Championship come that event, or he'll win it at that event.
We are hoping to be there, and we are hoping to do a show live from Texas for our first time we've ever taken Lost in the Midcard on the road. So we are hoping to do those things this summer. James says, what do you think about Dijak showing up at AEW soon? Or do you think he's going to stick around in MLW for longer?
I'm not sure what his contract situation is with MLW. I'm not sure.
I don't think he has one.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm not sure if he's on a per date or if he's on an actual deal with them. I know he's been backstage at an AEW event since being free from WWE, but I don't know. I'm not sure AEW has an interest in him right now. I think if the rumored Ring of Honor television deal takes place, Dijak would be the perfect person to snatch up and build on the Ring of Honor brand.
Have him beat up Jericho,
but not on the shitty Honor Club garbage that we're getting right now. Yeah. So,
yeah, I don't know about that. And then finally, before we go to Full Gear, Future of Undisputed.
And the latest MK just said this, I would be okay with. If you're insisting on the singles run for Kyle Fletcher right now, and you're truly breaking up Aussie Open, that's the play. Put the Ring of Honor World Championship on him and build that brand around Kyle Fletcher instead of someone like freaking Chris Jericho.
And then finally on AEW, before we get to Full Gear, Future of Undisputed. I mean, it feels like there's no, even with Adam Cole back, it feels weird. They're teasing Kyle O'Reilly, even though he's in the conglomeration. But yet he doesn't.
I think we're gonna get Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly at Full Gear.
Cool.
Like they would obviously have to sign that this Wednesday on Dynamite, but I don't foresee them just leaving Adam Cole off the show.
No,
unless he just ends up getting involved in the Strong MJF match.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised if we get Kyle O'Reilly against Adam Cole on Full Gear this weekend.
Speaking of Full Gear, that is this weekend, and we are breaking it down. 9 matches on the card. One of those 9 is on the pre-show. That pre-show match is Big Boom AJ from the Costco guys, which I don't know much about, but I've heard he's been away from wrestling for some time now. And he is taking on QT Marshall, who according to Sean Ross Sapp, was the catalyst to getting him on this 0-hour card. Do you know much about the Costco boys, Matt?
I didn't know who they were until they were on an AEW pay-per-view 0-hour earlier this year. I'd never heard of them. They are not my demographic.
MJF against Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong, the first to win 3 matches. You gotta probably go with MJF here, right?
Yeah, there's no way MJF loses this match.
No.
Sorry, Roddy. I love you, but you're losing.
This one I'm a little conflicted on. Jay White and Hangman Adam Page. It's been a great feud. I've enjoyed the feud. I think Jay White is getting pushed. I keep saying it. I think Jay White's going to get pushed in the short term. So I'm going to put Jay White over here.
I'm very nervous about this because Jay White just beat Hangman at Wrestle Dream.
Yeah.
Is White going to win back-to-back pay-per-view matches over Hangman? I don't see it.
Would you rather have a third match at Wrestle Dream or World's End?
No, I didn't want this match again, period. They should have let Jay White get the win at Wrestle Dream and move the fuck on. This was a stupid idea. Like, they've backed themselves into a corner with this match because there's going to be the contingent of people out there that are going to be upset that if Hangman loses back-to-back pay-per-view matches, and there's going to be an even bigger contingent if Jay White loses again.
Yeah.
Like, they're damned if they do and damned if they don't with this match. I'm not happy with this match. I'm picking Hangman due to the way Tony Khan books, but I would prefer Jay White to win this match or move the fuck on from Hangman, and Hangman go and do something else. This was this is the match that I'm most angry about on this show because it should never have taken place.
4-way dance for the tag titles: Private Party, Outrunners, Kings of the Black Throne, The Acclaimed. It's hard to fathom Private Party losing so quickly, but it's a 4-way tag team match. Yeah, you
can't do that. You cannot cut the legs out from Private Party immediately.
If it's anybody, it's going to be Kings of the Black Throne.
You pin the Outrunners. You have FTR get mad at the Outrunners for wasting their opportunity, and you turn FTR heel.
Ooh.
That's where I think this. That's where I think this is going, because I think based on the FTR promo on Collision this weekend, I believe we're going down a path where FTR are going to be turning heel. So
Mercedes Moné and Chris Statlander for the TBS title. Matt.
I don't think they've built Statlander enough to make me believe she's going to be the one to beat Mercedes. I think Mercedes is going to retain.
I think it's going to be Camille. I think Camille's going to take that title from her. You know,
it's very likely Camille could be the one to take the title.
She's been getting treated like shit last few weeks. I think Camille's going to take that from her. So I agree that Mercedes wins this. Swerve and Bobby, you can't have Bobby lose his first match in AEW,
I don't think you can either.
Is it going to be fishy? I think it's going to be fishy. But
I don't like fishy pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Finishes. I don't like them in WWE. I don't like them in AEW. I don't like them in TNA. I don't like them anywhere. I don't like fishy pay-per-view finishes.
I'm gonna say Ricochet cost Swerve.
Okay, well that would be fair. But I mean, Ricochet's got his Ricochet's got his own shit to worry about on Saturday. So
he does.
Isn't he facing Takeshita?
No, it's not on the list. Unless it gets official on Wednesday.
I'm pretty sure it's Ricochet's faced at Takeshita for the International Championship at Full Gear. Maybe.
Unless they moved it to Dynamite, it's not on the official list right now.
That's weird. I could have. Anybody want to chime in on the chat? I thought for certain that match was the thing. So, but yeah, to me, you can't. I think Bobby should win clean personally, but I would be okay with like. Ricochet or somebody costing Swerve the match. I'd even be okay if Keith Lee returned. It looked like he was going to help Swerve, but turned on Swerve and joined the Hurt Syndicate and cost him the match. And then we could get Swerve versus Keith Lee at World's End like we were supposed to get last year.
Right.
So I'm just saying.
That's a smooth way to book it. Jack Perry, Daniel Garcia for the TNT title. It's got to be time. It's got to be time.
I think this is the only title change of the show. Okay. I think Daniel Garcia wins the TNT championship this weekend at Full Gear.
Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher. I think we're in agreement. Ospreay wins this.
I think Mark Davis turns and Fletcher wins.
Okay.
I like, and that would mean Aussie Open would have to remain together, and that is my scenario for Fletcher right now is to be back with Aussie Open. So
yeah,
I'm gonna say Fletcher. I would prefer Ospreay to win. Because like I said, I don't believe Fletcher's ready for the singles push that they're doing with him right now.
Yeah.
With the way the card is, the way the roster's stacked in AEW at the moment. But I'm picking Fletcher, but I would prefer Ospreay to win.
And then
who just said that? Daddy Magic ain't turning on Garcia, Steven. If that happens, me and you're gonna have beef next Monday.
Will you stop? And then we already said our piece about Moxley and Cassidy. We both are in agreement that Moxley retains. Yes. We got 10 minutes until Raw, unless you want to go overtime since Raw's taped. We ain't gonna go too far over.
Yeah, let's keep our schedule. People, even though Raw's taped, people still want to watch Raw. So let's.
So obviously the big story is the Bloodline. How are you enjoying the reformation with Sami Zayn? How do you like the additions of Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins?
Oh, I
Well,
don't think Seth. I don't think Seth.
supposedly.
I don't think Seth Rollins is going to be the fifth man. I figured this out over the weekend.
Okay.
And I have to give credit to Chris Mueller of Bleacher Report for clicking this in my brain. At the end of SmackDown on Friday, when Roman Reigns tried to call Paul Heyman, and the line was disconnected. Clearly, Heyman is going to be the key to the fifth man of the War Games. The wise man is going to get the bloodline their fifth man. And Chris Mueller said he had this terrible thought that Brock Lesnar would
Brock
return
Lesnar.
at Survivor
I
Series.
think I saw that tweet.
And I'm like, no. I'm like, I get where you're coming from, but I think you're half right. I do think Paul Heyman is going to be the catalyst for the fifth man in the Bloodline War Games, but it's not going to be Brock Lesnar. It's going to be CM Punk.
Okay. I
CM
love
Punk
the
will
end
be the
of.
fifth member of that team.
I
And
thought the
it's
end of
going to be
SmackDown.
strictly because of Paul Heyman. It's not going to be like I'm sure him and Roman are not going to, like be buddy and all this.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a Heyman trying to force
Yeah.
CM Punk and Roman Reigns to coexist to take down the new bloodline at Survivor Series.
I absolutely love the end of SmackDown when Roman tried to call the wise man and the phone was obviously because Solo destroyed the phone, but you can still use the
Yeah,
same
but I mean,
phone
even
number.
if you destroyed the phone would still
Yeah,
ring.
I
So I mean,
know.
that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Paul, you didn't go out and buy a new fucking phone. And phone insurance. Come on, Paul. What are you
All right.
doing?
What are your thoughts on Kevin Owens snapping? Obviously, we all know the pile driver thing's stupid, but
I
just what
hate
are
the
your
pile
thoughts on
driver thing.
what are your thoughts on Kevin Owens? Turning heel. What are your thoughts on this whole arc so far?
Just
Minus the pile driver stuff.
to me, in terms of the pile driver thing, if they wanted to make this series, he should have used the package pile driver.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
instead of just a basic ass pile driver. If you really wanted to sell it, make this oh my god type of thing, he should have hit Orton with the package pile driver. That's what it should have been. Um, Overall, if I could sum up the Kevin Owens turn in one word, and I'm sure there's going to be some people in here that disagree with me, my word is disappointed.
Okay.
I wanted Kevin Steen in AEW
Hmm.
in the worst possible way.
We were almost gonna
In
get it.
in,
We
in
thought.
in the in the current turn of Owens in the rivalries that he's having right now with Orton and Cody, tell me where there's smoke, there's fire. He's had to I know nobody's reported this. Gun to my head, I gotta be right. Kevin Owens has already signed a new deal with WWE.
I agree. I
That
agree.
I think he's already locked in, and I think he'll be there for years to come. And I really, really, really wanted to see Kevin Steen in AEW and see some of the things he could have done with the Young Bucks and Adam Cole and people like that over there. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. I love Kevin Owens. If he's happy, I'm happy for him. But I can't help but be a little bit disappointed because I did want to see what Kevin Steen in AEW would look like.
Are you happy with the elevation of Bronson Reed, the feud with Seth Rollins, and also now his inclusion with the Bloodline?
Yeah, I think it's great.
I
And
agree.
honestly, I would keep him with the new
Mhm.
Bloodline after Survivor Series. I don't think they're
Absolutely.
going to. I think this is just going to be a one-off thing for
Probably,
Survivor
but
Series.
I
But
agree.
I think he fits. And if you want to make them more unstoppable, more brutal, more imposing, Bronson Reed aligned with Jacob Fatu, because let's face it, Tama and Tonga Leo they're not that threatening. Tama Tonga was threatening in New Japan. He's not really threatening in WWE, and
No.
Tonga Loa is just
He
like
was until
no,
Jacob
like
Fatu showed up.
nobody cares about Tonga Loa. I'm not
No.
trying to be mean, but he's kind of there. He's just the guy that stands at ringside and manages the other three guys. Um, so yeah, if you really want to make the new bloodline, a serious threat, I would keep Bronson Reed with them. I know he's not truly part of the bloodline, but he just looks like he fits with them
He
so
fits.
well.
Yeah.
Like
Um,
watching them work together on SmackDown on Friday, I'm like, damn, look how good they all look together. They just a super impressive faction.
New Days, Big E saving it.
I hope so. That's my hope. I know there's supposed to be like a New Day, like celebration episode of Raw in the coming
Yeah.
weeks, like the 10-year anniversary of the New Day.
Yeah.
That's where I'm hoping Big E returns and mends the fences between Woods and Kofi. I'm not sure that means Big E's returning to the ring, but Big E in a managerial role for Woods and Kofi, I would really like that. He doesn't need to get
Yeah.
physical, but
No.
just having him there, I believe his presence as a part of the New Day again could lead the New Day back, to tag team gold in WWE.
Thoughts on Nakamura's return? Are they finally going to get it right with him?
I'm thrilled Nakamura's back on back on my TV. I don't think they're going to get it right with them. They've had several opportunities to get it right with him, and instead of getting it right with him, they've had him sit at home for months on end.
Were
So
you
I don't think they're
um
going to get it right with him, and that's extremely disappointing to me.
were you surprised at the releases of Indy Hartwell and Baron Corbin?
Corbin, no. Indy, yes.
I thought Corbin
Indy.
was going to be a lifer.
Well, the thing is, Corbin's barely been used on TV since being brought back up to SmackDown. They
Yeah.
paired him with Apollo Crews, and they didn't really do anything with them. It's like
Well,
why
that was
didn't you
not
just?
going to go
You should
anywhere.
have just left him down in NXT. He was doing fine
Yeah.
down there.
Oh
Like when they
yeah.
brought
Him
him
and
back up
Braun.
and didn't do anything with him, I'm like, man, his days might be numbered. He was a
Him and
Vince guy. I don't think he was
yeah.
ever. I don't think he was ever a Triple H guy.
I've heard
So I
rumblings
wasn't
that
surprised.
Triple H wasn't pleased with how much Vince pushed him. Mainly probably the
I don't know.
constable type of deal.
It wouldn't be. I wouldn't be surprised.
Who
But
should be the first women's United States champion? I say Chelsea Green or Mi Chin.
I talked about this yesterday on the Mark Hoke show, and here's I have two ways of looking at it. It's, are you looking to establish this title immediately as a very important championship within WWE by putting it on a top tier established star, or are you defining this as a mid card championship for the women in the work up from winning the Intercontinental Championship back in the day to being the step up to challenge for the WWE Championship? If they're going for the importance right off the bat to make this a big time credible title, Bailey's the no brainer choice because Bailey's done everything, and Bailey being the first to hold that title would mean something.
True.
If they're going for the mid card thing, after what I saw on Friday, I think Naomi would be a great choice.
Okay.
Mishin would also be a great choice. I don't think it'll be anybody else other than those three at this point, based on the tournament brackets.
Is DIY breaking up or going heel?
Well, Ciampa is definitely turning heel. The question is Gargano going to go with him? His wife is a heel, so it would make sense for Gargano to just fall in line with Ciampa and his wife. I don't want to see Ciampa and Gargano feud again. I think it's too soon
No.
to do that. I don't think
that was done to death in NXT.
I don't think the main roster audience has enough of emotional attachment to DIY yet to split them up and feud them. I don't think it would go over well. So I think Gargano has to turn.
One more WWE thing and then two quick NXT things. Thoughts on Samantha Irvin's departure?
She wanted to leave. She's made it very clear since departing she didn't want to be a ring announcer. She thought that was her way in to eventually be like a manager or a GM or something along those lines. Like, it wasn't her passion. And and that's fair. Like, if you're doing a job that you don't enjoy, despite how good you are at it and how much
being
money
on
you're
the
making,
road constantly,
if you feel like you can leave and do something that you enjoy, do it. Life's too freaking short to be working in a job that you hate.
Two quick NXT things. How is NXT's women's division the best women's division in pro wrestling right now, with Julia Zarya showing up, Stephanie Valkyr, and probably Jordan Grace?
I think the top of the card of the NXT women's division is great, but there's a very sharp decline as you go across that division, which, if you're trying to balance things out, I can't call it the best women's division in pro wrestling because they have some of the worst women in professional wrestling on the bottom of their card.
Okay.
So I don't agree with that assessment. I know WWE's trying to drive that line down people's throats right now. It's just not something that I necessarily agree with.
And let's end it on a guy that we both like. How great is Ethan Page being booked? I think they're doing what AEW did.
if I never have to, if I never have to see Ethan Page against Trick Williams again, and it'll be too
Right.
soon.
Right.
I feel like they drove that feud into the ground,
Very much so.
and they need to move on for both Page and Trick Williams' sake.
Anybody standing out? Anybody real quick before we sign off? Anybody off the top of your head standing out for you in NXT right now
Oba
that
Femi.
you like? Oh God, yes. I love
Yeah.
that strut to the ring.
I think he's gonna be the one to dethrone Shrek. I think
And
he's the next NXT champion.
and I've loved the growth of Tony D'Angelo too. On
Oh,
top of that,
Tony's great, dude.
man,
Tony's
that
fantastic.
the whole
I've
growth
been a
with
big proponent of
Rizzo.
Tony for a long time.
Me too.
Tony's doing great stuff. I loved his matches with Oba Femi. They protected Oba in both of the losses. And I do believe Oba's the next in line for Trick Williams NXT Championship.
Absolutely. Raw right now is doing the old backstage walks. Of course, it is taped, so if you've already know what's going on, but if you don't know, go tune in right now and enjoy. It's great to be back. We are back every week. We'll be back next week at the same bat time, same bat channel, 7:10 Eastern, 6:10 Central, leading you up to Monday Night Raw. Enjoy Raw. Have a good week. Enjoy Full Gear. We'll be back next week to talk Full Gear and to predict Survivor Series. As always, thanks for tuning in to Lost